I know my channel is pretty new, but if you're here, you probably binge watch my entire channel, tell the truth. You know my videos are addictive, so you probably spent all night yesterday watching my 3 videos. And you thought, oh my god, I gotta subscribe to her. Quickly, hit the subscribe button because she's so smart and so beautiful and I can't wait to see what she comes up with next. Well, you're not gonna be so happy that you subscribed today, my friend. You know why? Because I have jumped the shark. I have gone over to the dark side and today I'm gonna come out clean. I'm gonna get out of this crowded closet and I'm going to admit it to all of you. I believe in astrology. Yes, you heard it right. I believe in astrology. But hey, do not despair because today I am going to pull you over to the dark side, and by the end of this video, you too will believe in astrology. Or at the very least, you will give it a chance. Astrology, maybe not so entirely insane. Here's what I think. I want you for a second to do an exercise with me. I want you to step into my shoes and try to see the world from a new perspective. Don't think that just because you can put yourself in someone else's shoes, that it means that you agree with them. No, you can do this exercise, and at the end of the exercise, take off the other person's shoes and go on with your life. So don't think this threatens your conviction, all right? A lot of physicists say that the world could very well be a simulation. This is called simulation theory, and I think it was Elon Musk who came out and said that he was one of the people who believed that the world was a simulation. I could finally make peace with God, you guys. I made peace with God while playing The Sims. You see, all my life I thought, how could there be a creator? How could there be a God and that would allow people to die in horrible ways and horrible tragic accidents to happen and like natural disasters? And then I installed The Sims in my computer. My sim botched a recipe in the kitchen and the stove caught fire, and instead of calling the firemen, I removed the windows and the door and watched the sim burn to death. Am I the only terrible psychopath with the Sims out there, or is there anybody else who did the same thing as me? Were you a nasty little sim master and you killed your sims in horrible ways? Here's the thing, if God exists, maybe he's just playing with us for entertainment. Maybe we are the Sims and this is his kitchen and he's just burning us alive. Okay, let's suppose the world is a simulation and I am God and I am in charge of creating a world that has a few different characteristics. So number 1, it has to be self-sustaining. It has to maintain some sort of equilibrium or balance. It needs to be ever growing. It is not so easy. It doesn't sound, it sounds more simple than it is. When a human creates a video game, which is also a simulation, they are counting on human players to script some of it, like when you arrive on a video game and you create your own character and you put all the traits into your character and you customize the way he looks and you make decisions within the game, you are the element of chance. You are the person introducing new variables to a world that would otherwise be scripted. There's no way to artificially create chance. You cannot plan chance. The only way that you can do this is creating a pattern so complicated and difficult to crack that nobody can tell it's there. If I was a creator and I had to create this world, how could I introduce the factor of chance? And I thought a really good way to doing that was to use the luminaries in the sky. Like for a moment, think that instead of being stars, think of them as like little tiny lights, like handles. The creator just picks them and moves them Like, say, if it was a video game and you were the creator, it would be like aggro, and then you move it and the enemies become more aggressive or more tame according to where you slide that little handle. And another one might be like how rough the terrain is. And if you slide it all the way here, the terrain gets really rough and sharp and like steep. And if you move it all the way here, it's quite like, it's like a meadow, very flat and very nice. Imagine that all the luminaries in the sky are different handles for different traits. And the beauty of this system is they hide the pattern perfectly. We can predict with incredible accuracy where the stars in the sky will be 1,000 years in the future. We know where they will be because there is a pattern. It's just the movement of those stars in the sky creates the illusion of randomness below. And so when a new character was born in the map, depending on where it was born and what sliver of the sky was visible where he was born, he would have different traits, you know? And this creates a system that is self-sustainable, that is always changing, and that hides the pattern to give the illusion of randomness. It's absolutely brilliant and absolutely perfect. And if I was a creator, that is how I would make my world seem chaotic and random, when in reality it's all scripted and planned. So I think there is a good chance that astrology could be real and have a purpose. And how did people come up with it? Well, you have to understand, astrology is an ancient knowledge. It was practiced by almost every single culture in the world. And there's so much knowledge about it. It could fill in books and books and books. And these are people who really relied on the stars. So they had a lot of time. They didn't have TV, you guys. There was no iPad back then. They had a lot of time to ponder things, okay? And not only is the firmament the secret hidden pattern by which all the world randomness happens, but it's perfect because it's also the player map. It's the map of the kingdom for the player. The player could just look up at the sky and see the stars and know exactly where he was geographically. And it also told the time. It told the player when it was time to sow and when it was time to water the crops and when it was time to finally, get your wheat off the ground. And this beautiful machinery, this beautiful, incredibly intricate machinery was studied by the ancients precisely because of that. Their entire lives revolved around looking up at the sky. And maybe they figured and they realized that not only did the stars tell them when to sow and when to, pick the wheat, it also maybe had an impact in people's relationships and events that occurred and things like that. And we shouldn't be so conceited to think that all our ancestors were just dumb and gullible and stupid and believed in such hogwash like this. Maybe they had something. Maybe there was a little bit of truth to this. So now that I've said my piece, if your conviction that astrology is silly or stupid was a little bit shaken, just a little bit, then go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel because I will be making more videos like this. And if you truly want to test, if you have like a truly scientific mind and you want to test this, my advice is to get your birth chart made, your natal chart. Birth chart is also called. And this is because the horoscope is just very limited information and it's kind of useless really. It doesn't really tell you much. What you do need to know is your natal chart, which is a snapshot of the sky exactly as it was the minute that you were born in the city that you were born in, right? And this can really tell you many, many things about yourself and your life and your future and your past. And it is the one way to go with astrology. So the one that I recommend, and this video is not sponsored. I have 3 followers, right? It's my dog, my neighbor, and my, I don't know. So no, nobody is sponsoring me, but I really do think that this is probably one of the best websites to make it. It's called Astrocharts, and I think it's astrocharts.com. I don't know, Google it. And there's also some apps for the iPhone. I have a few that I like, and these are the ones that I recommend. I recommend especially the one called Time Passages. I don't know if you see it. Time Passages, CoStar, and Horus. And Horus is like riddled with ads, so I don't think it's that, fun to use. But CoStar is very pretty, and Time Passages is very accurate. So whichever, like there's a ton of roads that lead to Rome. You just gotta take one. Get your chart made. These are the 3 things that you need to get your chart made. You need your the city you were born in is the first thing that you need to know. Then the city you were born in, then the date you were born in, and the time you were born in. So most people will know the city and the date, but few people know the time they were born in. If you don't know the time that you were born in, you can either call your mom and ask her, or you can get your birth certificate. Most countries will include the time of birth in the birth certificate, so that's a sure way also to do it. Grab those, those 3 pieces of information and head somewhere you can make your own birth chart. Get it done and tell me in the comments if you feel like you identify with what you see in your birth chart. It's a pretty cool experiment, and I don't know, I think you could like it.